Whiskey and Nerds podcast.
It's like an old white person melting. It's expanding over the table. All right, so Comic-Con happened in San Diego this past weekend.
Yeah.
And God, did we get a lot of information.
There's so many things. So what do you want to start with?
I think we should start with DC because we can
agree.
get through it in about 36 seconds and then spend the next hour talking about what Marvel gave us because they actually gave us stuff.
So DC had like an hour and a half to 2 hour panel on Hall H first thing in the morning, and Marvel had an hour, a strong hour. Like you were getting a hard hour. That's
So
all.
you're expecting DC's gonna this is their chance. They are coming out, and like Henry Cavill's been in the talks. They're starting to step up their game. Like, I mean, I know we're getting 6 Batmans next year, but we're making strides. We're making progress with DC. Like, I had high hopes for DC at Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. What'd they give us, Gabe?
Let's see. The Rock showed up as Black Adam, which is cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And they gave you another extended trailer of that.
Mm-hmm. So we got a Black Adam trailer.
You had a Black Adam trailer. And the cast of Shazam 2 was also there. Zachary Levi doing his thing. He also recently came out with the book about how he had a mental breakdown like 5-6 years ago and wanted to, big famous movie star, has all the shit and wanted to kill himself. So he spent tons and tons of Hollywood actor money to get the best possible, therapy possible. And then he wrote a book about that.
Interesting.
I'll probably still read it, but...
Sounds like a fun, exciting read.
Yeah. It's not Simu Liu's, Weird Dreamers. As
Look at where I came from to where I am. Yeah.
Plus, he's our age, so the stuff he talks about being into and experiencing, we were doing the exact same thing on the other side of... he was in Canada, we were in Texas, but the exact same things at the exact same time. So I related to that really well. And then, like we talked about earlier, I'm currently reading Scars and Stripes by Tim Kennedy, and I can't stress it enough. 1, he's hilarious as shit. 2, crazy is the only word. 3, you read that, you have absolutely nothing to complain about in your life, period. And he's also literally the walking Captain America.
Interesting.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, wrestled for years, trained with Chuck Liddell back when Chuck Liddell was Chuck Liddell, UFC fighter, he's a Special Forces, Green Beret, and the list goes on and on and on. So that book is currently very, very good, very interesting, very eye-opening. Holy shit. Anyway, Zachary Levi, Shazam 2.
Yeah.
Does it look charming? Yeah. Does it look like the first one? Yeah. Are you hoping...
He gets his whole family now. That's the...
you get the entire
difference.
Shazam group.
Yeah.
Which, okay, you got that at the end of the first one. You're like, okay, that's cool. And then you get one about all of them, and Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are the bad guys. Okay. Are you going to go watch it? Yeah. Are you more excited about them possibly giving you something that leads to something else?
In it.
At the end of it?
At the end of either of them, really.
Yes, very true. Yes, that is actually the major goal in here. And we've talked about going into, we went and saw the Eternals when it came out, not because we really cared or excited about the Eternals. We're like, show me something cool for the future.
Yeah.
And they did. Black Knight and you hear Blade.
Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah. I mean, you had to suffer through 3 hours of absolute dog shit to get to that point, but cool. Henry Cavill was scheduled to be there. I believe he did not show up because of COVID, because they just shut down Witcher 3 production because he has COVID.
That makes sense.
So I think that has something to do with it. But The Rock was asked multiple times about Superman. Yeah. I think the thing I read was he was asked who would win in a fight, Black Adam or Superman, and his response was, depends on who's playing Superman.
Did y'all see that he got booed when he said that?
Uh-huh. Because they wanted an answer.
Yeah.
And he can't give them an answer. And he actually got asked by comicbook.com, do you follow them on Instagram?
Yes.
Solid follow.
Yeah.
Because the
For the information and the updates you
the
get.
20-second shorts that they put out.
Yeah. Solid.
I don't know whose eggs I have to fondle to get that job, but I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got interviewed on that one, and he went full politician answer, like in the worst way. He's like, well, I mean, I've known Henry a long time, and we really, really like each other. And for me, he's our generational Superman, and I would love to work with him. And Danny Garcia has been a part of his career for a long, long time, and blah 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 blah. Not so answering the question.
He answered 100% of your question without answering any of your question.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And that was all that DC gave you.
That's all we got.
They did not talk about the Flash.
Nope.
They didn't say, listen, guys, Ezra Miller's an asshole, so here's what we got to do. They didn't say anything about Batgirl.
No.
Like, you could have skipped all that and said Batgirl. They didn't give you anything for Aquaman 2.
3 days after Comic-Con, they gave you, Ben Affleck's going to be in Aquaman 2.
As Batman. As Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
I don't know
as Bruce Wayne.
Which, sweet.
Yeah. In any way, do you think... So, one, I think that's the smartest thing DC has done in forever, because I think it was done so people don't boycott Amber Heard, because you're like, well, wait, Ben Affleck's going to be back in it? Oh, yeah, well, now I'm going again.
Yeah. In fact, doing that after the fact, and they could have been like, listen, I need to bring you in. We need to do some reshoots real quick. We need to make this movie matter, because we are on an outside edge of a casualty, because this bitch...
The outside edge of a few casualties.
Yeah, because this bitch likes to shit on beds.
Yeah, she does.
She does. She has. And then blame the dog. Rude.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Poor dog.
Yeah. He's over in the corner. He's like, the fuck I did.
But yeah, that was what DC gave us.
All
Not
of DC.
a lot. I feel like does Warner Brothers have their own, or even DC have their own event like a D23? No.
It'd be a Warner Brothers event, and a Warner Brothers collectively. Again, you got to think. Disney has theirs, but Disney owns all these things, right? Mm-hmm. Marvel was its own thing that they created. It runs independently.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm has always run Star Wars. It runs independently, except they put Kathleen Kennedy in charge, and they're like, Last Jedi is a great idea. And then you have your Pixars and your every other thing that run on their own thing.
Right.
Whereas DC and all their other lines are all just Warner Brothers.
One unit, yeah.
There's no person, and that was the problem. There's no one person running the helm for DC.
Holding the reins. There's not a Kevin Feige of DC.
There was a talk that J.J. Abrams would take on that role for not only DC movies, but also DC comics, because those are more linked than Marvel is.
I did hear something, and I don't know why it would be a rumor, because it's not something worth rumoring. So I think it's true. But the CCO, which I don't know what that stands for, Chief Something Officer, it was either, I believe it was Disney, has left Disney and is now with Warner Brothers. And he was the person who kind of got Marvel kickstarted with like the Iron Man, stuff like that, as far as like Disney ownership and things like that.
I think I've heard the same thing.
And so they're hoping like, okay, we'll let him grab DC and just run with it.
I think he was one of the ones that was organizing, hey, we have HBO Max, and you have avenues to create off of the products that we already have, whether we're mismanaging them or not. So your Catwoman series, your Gotham Arkham Asylum series, your Penguin series, get those moving, because they're going to open us up to be able to do more things in this realm that clearly is working. I mean, last I checked, Endgame was still the #1 movie ever. Mm-hmm. Up until they re-release Avatar before the new Avatar and steal the whole fucking thing back.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, hey, this works. There's a demand for it, as hundreds of thousands of people filed into a room fresh out of COVID. Like, whether you believe in COVID or not, that many people in one place is going to spread something.
Yeah.
Period. So you have an opportunity there, even this late in the game, especially if Dwayne Johnson wants to bring Henry Cavill back. And look, you give me a movie where Henry Cavill, Zachary Levi as Shazam, and Aquaman are fighting Black Adam.
Yeah. I'm in.
That would be awesome. Because the comic or the cartoon, the animated movie is Superman and Shazam fight Black Adam.
Yeah.
And it's good. And he beats the fuck out of both of them.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather see that? Or would you rather see Justice League get revamped and do a Justice League Darkseid? Because that's kind of what you were teased at the end. Like, they served it up on a silver platter. Darkseid kind of looking through the hole. And they're all, hey, we're here. You can't.
Yeah, bring it, bitch.
Yeah, and
then the Rock
and then
jumps
the whole
in.
thing fell apart, and the Rock's like, we're going to start the DCEU. We're like, started 6 years ago.
He's like, we're gonna fix this. And he goes back and redoes what Zack Snyder already redid and just digitally implants himself jumping in front of him and doing this thing.
The eyebrow raise.
The eyebrow raise in the Black Adam suit.
Oh, yeah.
I will pay $100 for that ticket to watch all 4 hours of that movie again just for that.
At the end?
$100 for that ticket, 4 hours in a theater, in those god-awful seats, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
Just for that little thing.
Yeah. But which would you rather see? Would you rather see them continue on the Zack Snyder Justice League and go to Darkseid? Like, that's your Thanos big bad. And obviously, you know, have that be like 10 years down the road and actually develop some stuff first? Or would you rather just start the Dwayne Johnson EU and
I would like, well, if we're being greedy, both and yes and
I think you could
honestly, if you did both and you make both better because you tie in what you already have. Which, even if what you already have isn't good, as Marvel has shown you, this isn't good, but we tied it in here and you like it better now. Because they've done it multiple times. You're like,
now when you go back and watch, you're like, oh that means something more.
That was funny. Because that happened, and then in like 6 years from now, he's going to look like a giant bearded homeless dude. The Big Lebowski talking about it is like, you call it a stone, it's more like a sludge. That movie doesn't suck nearly as bad.
Yeah.
And then the raccoon makes fun of her haircut because she wasn't dumb enough in the first movie that she had to get her haircut. We get it. It's funny.
Yeah.
So you find a way to make all that tie in after the fact with The Rock raising his eyebrow and being overly badass in whatever movie he's being overly badass in.
Yeah.
And look, he has been championing this movie for 10 years. The only other time I have heard anyone pushing for a role for 10 years was Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool.
Yeah.
So, not the same characters, not the same actors. They're very funny together, as we saw in Red Notice. But if you kind of go that route, bring Henry Cavill back, redevelop this, bring in Shazam, you got to figure out the Flash. Maybe you drop the Flash altogether. I don't know.
You could even, I mean, at this point, it's clear Ezra Miller's not moving forward.
Yeah.
So you're about to have a multiverse-esque movie. You could easily not tell Ezra and cast him out of his own movie and bring another Flash out of another multiverse, and that fixes your problem.
Honestly, a post-credit scene where Ezra Miller's Flash dies and another Flash shows up and be like, there you go.
Yeah.
But again, we talked about before, there's a whole bunch of business aspects that make that movie difficult now. Of the star of your movie, the one that's going to be in every single scene of your movie, is a child grooming, assaulting asshole.
Yeah. And it's also very possible that he's signed on for multiple movies, and we'll talk about later when we talk about the Marvel side, that might mean them not even be able to use Flash for a certain period of time. So there are complications, but I feel like there also might not be, because we could just tell Ezra to sign something.
And I'm totally down to bring Gal Gadot in with the entire group. She's also worked with The Rock before, and that chemistry seems there. In fact, if you just did that and stopped letting her make her own Wonder Woman movies, that'd be better too.
Yeah. I agree. I think tying it all together would be awesome. I also feel like DC dropped the ball a little bit with Comic-Con with not giving us anything on the new Batman. I don't remember if I heard it was 2025 or 5 years before we get the next one.
I think it was 2025.
Yeah, it was something.
It was greenlit. Hey, Batman 2 is coming.
Yeah, and I've seen a ton of really awesome fan-made posters of, I hope it's this, I hope it's this, I hope it's this, I hope it's this. I know what I hope it is. I hope we get a Mr. Freeze.
Can you imagine a reality-centered noir Mr. Freeze of how that would work in that universe? I think it'd be just amazing.
I think so too, and I think...
But part of me also worries, are you leaning kind of into a Harvey Dent-esque character with an ice gun? Because when I think of how you're going to make Mr. Freeze work, it actually kind of pulls, obviously not being Two-Face, but being this kind of gangster with an ice gun.
Well, and the thing I think back to is I don't want to see another Joker. Like, as much of a fan I am of Joker, and how he is my favorite really DC villain for the most part.
Almost everybody, yeah.
I've seen it. Now, and I also
times.
Really don't want to see Bane either, because now I've seen it, and I like what I got.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like the old horrible one just because of my childhood, and I didn't know any better.
No, it was offensive.
But I love the Tom Hardy one, even though I can only understand every other third word. Yeah. I want to see Mr. Freeze.
It's like Sean Connery talking through a fan. Sometimes you just gotta slap him.
Yeah. I want to see that universe as Mr. Freeze, that universe as Penguin. Well, we already have Penguin.
But you want to see more of that. You want to see more of
I want
Colin
him
Farrell.
to still be in it as just like the street level bad.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Freeze. I think
you got a good take on the Riddler.
I think that universe could do a really good Poison Ivy as a really dark universe that they have.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much they could do with the Batman.
I don't want them to do a Harley Quinn, as we already heard. You already have Margot Robbie as that Harley Quinn in the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
So I don't want another one. And then we talked about the Joker is getting a sequel, and it's rumored that Lady Gaga is going to be Harley Quinn, and it's going to be a musical, which I would rather get a colonoscopy right now than that ever come to be reality.
Yeah.
But there's... As we know, there's plenty of opportunity for DC and Warner Brothers to pivot and make something really cool and have everything work and unfold and be something we actually are actively excited about and are inspired to do a podcast for.
Yeah.
Instead, they're going to do Wonder Woman 89.
Yeah.
And it's going to suck.
The Joker 4.
Yeah. And
running alongside Batman with the Joker. And then we're going to have a Joker and Suicide Squad 3. So we got 3 Jokers running simultaneously, 2 Batmans, and no Superman.
Yeah, we're going to have a standalone Weasel movie.
You can do a short and run it against I Am Groot.
Weasel would win, especially if James Gunn's directing. Well, technically, James Gunn's on both of them.
Yeah.
That man
we'll get
truly is a treasure. So let's pivot to the stuff that's actually.
Do you have anything
exciting.
else for DC? Because I'm actually going to cut this up into 2 episodes. I'm going to have a DC episode, and I'm going to have a Marvel episode.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to... That way, if you don't give a shit about DC and the 2 movies they released, you can go straight to Marvel.
Okay.
Come back and cut up on DC.
Then I'm going to push a little bit harder.
Okay.
Blake, you just got hired. You're the new Kevin Feige for DC.
It's about damn time.
Give me... Right? Like... Qualifications aside, because if we're qualified, so is 100 million other people. But I would love just to, hey, go do this for a second. After several days of shitting my pants, I'd be like, okay, Here's my plan. You're in charge. Okay. You're the new Kevin Feige of Warner Brothers, or of DC. Warner Brothers is like, look, dude, all the oversight that we fucked up with before, nothing. You get to be the KF of this here group. Go. What is your culmination of your first Justice League, the end of your phase 1?
Okay.
And actually, technically, yeah, that was the end of phase 1. Was
I'm gonna say that's the end of phase 1. And phase 2 has not begun yet. We're gonna start phase 2 with the Flash.
Okay,
so Black Adam, I guess technically.
What is? But fix it. What are you doing? Are you pivoting? You asked me. Are you pivoting? Are you redoing? Are you starting over with Black Adam, and you're gonna do another Superman, and you got to redo the Flash regardless because of legal issues. But you got Batgirl coming with Michael Keaton in there. Mm-hmm. Now you're in charge. You inherit this stuff. Are you gonna start making them all of them connect, or are you gonna be like, you know what? Let's just put out good stories individually. We're going to put out a thing actively saying that we are not creating a connected universe, that we are creating stories individually, separated from each other, and this is what we're doing. Or is it the Snyderverse is done, like they're kind of doing, this Batman universe can now start to spin off of it into, now here's a Metropolis out of this, now here is their own Wonder Woman out of this. You'd move on for most of the actors that you have, but then you could also bring in a Lobo, and Jason Momoa could finally play him.
I think he should play Lobo and Aquaman simultaneously.
I mean, if Eddie Murphy can play 19 people in one movie.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've got it.
Okay.
So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to implement DC television via HBO. It's growing a lot. It's becoming quite solid. Yeah, it was quite solid to begin with. It's becoming more solid.
You liked it better than I did. It's finally grown on me. At first, I was like, oh, shit, this sucks.
Yeah, I'm trying not to just chug it right now.
It's good. Again, I want to like it.
Yeah.
Which actually, for me, means I don't right out of the gate, and I didn't. But it's like a caramel syrup cream soda thing. It very much in cream soda.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy that. I like that a lot.
Well, good. Glad I got you a bottle.
Glad I got a bottle. I'm really excited about that now. Okay, go. But I'm going to implement DC television via HBO. I'm going to give Harley Quinn a TV show. However, it will be done very Peacemaker-esque. Dark comedy. And we're going to turn it into head-smashing.
Technically, you're late. She has
animated
one.
Yeah.
And it is in that vein, very much so. If you haven't watched it,
I haven't started it yet.
Throw it on the background.
It's on the list.
Don't invest oh God, we got to watch this.
I've heard it is good.
But throw it on the background, much like you said you're watching Deadpool 2 earlier. If you have it on while you're building a Lego, you catch stuff, and you're like, oh,
that was pretty fucking funny.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It's that.
Gotcha.
If you're sitting there, if you need to kill time, you're like, I don't want to start a show I actually need to fucking pay attention to, but I want something on just to kill the next 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Put that on. But it's in the vein of Peacemaker. Oh, that's somebody else. John Cena as Peacemaker doing anything with The Rock's Black Adam. If that doesn't happen and my life doesn't come full circle.
Yeah. That's childhood to adulthood all wrapped up together. Yeah.
Anyway, so technically that does exist. It's just an animated form.
Okay. So, and I'm not even going to touch DC animated because they're fine there.
No, you're good.
That's solid. So don't even touch that.
Yep. Can't fix perfection.
I'm going to still have my either Gotham Penguin-esque show where you have Gotham versus essentially your small-time Vincent D'Onofrio of Gotham.
Yeah.
Being Penguin. I'm going to phase 2 have it end with another big DC villain, like an accommodative like Justice League villain, but not a dark side, but just a
Brainiac.
A Brainiac would be good.
The computer that comes in from Krypton, that he's mostly a Superman villain.
Okay.
And honestly, what everyone was championing for a Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill, of this has never been done, and it could be done really well.
Yes, with the right director behind it. Now, play that. So the ending of Phase 2 is your big bad. For that, you beat Brainiac at the end of Phase 2. Mm-hmm. That is your big bad for the final Justice League 2, right?
Yeah.
But you have a Civil War-esque, you have a buildup of Superman. You have good versus evil. Also, like Superman versus Black Adam. Shazam's there. Batman's there. They're all they're trying to help, but it's a civil war. So you have split sides, and then they have to come together to beat Brainiac and whatever robot army essentially he's assembled, like an Ultron type thing. Then Phase 3. The thing that I struggle with right now is giving them their individual movies along the way. Like you can do an individual Batman.
We're going.
But as far as full, big picture universe, Phase 3, you end it with Darkseid. You have Darkseid in the post credits at the end of Brainiac's demise, and then you have Darkseid is your Thanos level. It's Justice League 3 and 4, or Justice League 3A and 3B.
Yeah.
Of the Justice League versus Darkseid, and that is your big culmination.
And you can,
and some of them die
throughout all of them.
You get in a new Constantine. You're gonna have to swap actors, but keep Flash going. You're gonna have to throw just $3 billion at Ben Affleck to stay. Jason Momoa stays.
Yeah, fifth of scotch.
Or two.
Sorry.
I don't know what other characters you could.
Ben Affleck just got remarried to Jennifer Lopez. I'd never leave the house. I'd never leave the bedroom.
Well, why?
Why would you need to?
Why would you?
Why would you go
upset?
Oh, we just saw them we just took a picture of them walking around outside after they got married. Why are you outside? The fuck are you doing? You should know. You know where you need to be.
Yeah. So that would be my fixing the DCEU. I'm not gonna make The Rock as big as he wants to be. He would still be big, though. He'd be one of the main characters.
Honestly, it needs to be him and Henry Cavill literally carrying the torch side by side. Mm-hmm. That's how you make it work. Because if you just do The Rock...
That's how you make it successful.
Listen, if you push The Rock as being the guy going to lead the charge of carrying this whole thing...
And you can't have an anti-hero lead your...
Guess what? He's already done that a couple of times in his wrestling career. And every time... You're forced to be the babyface, and everyone tells you, you like this guy, right?
Yeah.
Every time The Rock has done that,
everyone fucking hates you.
Everyone turned on him.
Yeah.
Everyone turned on him. Mm-hmm. I just watched a thing on him the other day. Like, first he was Rocky Maivia, and they kept shoving him down people's throats, and they started booing him, and he got pissed, and that's when he joined the Nation Domination and became The Rock and started running his mouth, and they're like, oh my God, this guy is great on the mic. And he got so good that he became popular because everyone liked hearing what he had to say.
Well, they sort of let him just go off on his own little tyrants.
And everyone liked hearing it. Well, then that whole thing played out, and he got big again, and they started booing him again. Mm-hmm. And he's like, the hell? Shit. And then he started all over again, running his mouth and becoming like The Rock as we know him, the quick-witted, awesome on the mic thing. And everyone started liking him again and started repeating his stuff to him and finishing his catchphrases. And it was funny. He showed him one time. He's started a catchphrase, and the fans went off. He's like, no. You don't get to fucking boo me and then say my catchphrases. You don't get both. You made me the bad guy.
Yeah.
So I feel if you do that in real life with Black Adam and shove him down everyone's throats of, look how badass he is.
Yeah, you just ruin him. You ruin him and everything else you're doing.
Kind of like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel of, hey, they're super badass. Look how badass they are. There's no struggle here. There's no real thing. They got kind of confused for a minute. Don't know why they have these powers, but they're cocky. They're badass. They know how cool they are. And they're going to lead everything. And everyone hated it.
Mm-hmm. Still to this day. There wasn't a growth or development. Everyone still hates it.
Yeah, they're like, that's not good. Like, well, we're giving you a Captain Marvel 2. No, thank you. We're putting a whole bunch of other people in it. Fine.
We'll call it the Marvel, so it's not just her.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll watch it now.
Yeah, I'll give you my money this time.
I'm still not gonna like it.
I'll go to the theater, but I'm not happy about it.
I won't watch it next D. Yeah, I probably will.
I'm still gonna watch it next D.
Yeah. So I think I don't want to say that they need to start over because I don't want to wait 20 years to watch the Dark Side trilogy. But it's a mess where it is right now. If they're going to try to continue it forward,
I feel like
there's so much cleanup that needs to happen.
Moving some people out of the way, because there was a producer from Warner Brothers that was causing a lot of the problems. Moving some people out of the way, rounding out some edges, throwing in some dialogue, or just saying, plot holes. Fuck it. And just keep going.
And you just push forward and pretend like those four movies, they happened, but they don't watch them again.
They happened. And
just remember what you remember.
I understand the continuity here is a little foggy, but do you want to move forward or not? Well, yes. Then come with me.
Yeah.
And I feel it's actually fairly easy fix with the characters you have. And if you can convince James Gunn to do more stuff for you, because that dude can do things right. That Suicide Squad movie
was solid.
Was actually really solid. Yeah. Really, really funny.
Yeah, weird villain, but it fit for the movie. Giant starfish.
Well, that's because you don't know Starro.
Yeah.
Most people are like, a starfish? Really? A starfish? Listen, Starro is actually an iconic DC villain that was always a thing. It was an alien that came from somewhere else and took over people's body, and they made it brutal as shit in that movie. And they're like, okay, fine.
It was essentially the same thing that Peacemaker was fighting in his show.
Right, yeah.
It's lazy writing.
He beat me to it. So, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm going to involve John Cena a lot more. Even if he's just your street level good guy.
Don't care.
But even give him a cameo in your Justice League movie. Just like you got everyone else. I mean, you got two people to cameo because you couldn't afford the other two.
Well, one and a half because one of them's allegedly an asshole.
Yeah.
But you got Jason Momoa and him to say, I fucking hate that rumor.
Yeah. That tie-in was brilliant. And you made them in the same universe now.
You did.
With Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller.
And then you had the Deep actually fucking fish in The Boys as a joke in reference to it, one of many to the Zack Snyder universe. When they remade The Seven, released The Seven. Oh my god, that show is so good.
It is. It's ridiculous.
I'm going to rewatch all of that. I'm going to rewatch Peacemaker again.
I need to go back and watch Peacemaker again.
It was a perfect show for as low expectation as we had, and the amount of people I had to fight with no, that looks dumb. Okay, one, stop being a fucking asshole, Scrooge. Just give it a chance.
Yeah. You have to give it 2.5 episodes before you're like, I understand what this is now.
I understand.
And then you love it from there on.
We're a different breed in what we look for and what we expect and how we can break down shows and movies and what we're doing. No one goes as stupid and deep and nerdy as we do. I get that. The second I saw those opening credits on the first episode, I was like, I know what this is, and I am in.
It's 8 episodes, and I did not skip the opening credits one time.
Not a single time. In fact, I actually think I've watched the opening credits more times than there are episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had to show other people. They're like, this is fucking dumb. I was like, you hate puppies.
Yeah. You don't understand comedic brilliance when you see it.
Yeah, exactly. You clearly love ISIS. That's all I have for DC, which went way longer than I thought with their 2 movies.
Yeah. 2 movies. I hope you enjoyed this hour-long podcast on the 2 movies.
Yeah.
This podcast was probably better than what they showed at Comic-Con. So, I'm still gonna see Black Adam. I hope it's a lot better than I'm expecting it to be.
It got moved to October?
Did it?
It was supposed to be actually this weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But it got shifted. It is, I believe, the beginning of October. Because if it's the end of October, it's going head-to-head with Black Panther 2.
Yeah,
and
no, the end, because Black Panther's in November.
Is it? Hold on. I literally have it pulled up
November 3rd.
Right in front of me.
I do too. November 11th.
Okay, there you go. So you're running up real close.
Right up close to it, though, yeah.
And you want to give that...
You want to give it this full month, not its first 2 weeks. Because then no one's going to see it, because everyone's going to be seeing Black Panther.
Correct. The switch over is going to move
Do you think it was reshoots to add people in?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so.
We'll find out in about 2 months, 2.5 months, 2 months.
Other random add-ons from Comic-Con. I'm just going to throw it on this because we're going to go for a while on the Marvel one.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. Mm-hmm. That's a thing. Chris Pine, a whole bunch of other people. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go see it, but I'll watch it eventually.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Mortal Kombat 2 has a director.
Nice.
That was announced, so that's in constant work. Hopefully it's better than the first one, but I feel like having expectations in any capacity with a Mortal Kombat movie
that'd be your first mistake.
Setting yourself up for failure.
Enjoy it for what they give you. Good or bad. You gotta take it all.
Exactly. And then, we already talked about Vince McMahon getting pushed and
getting laid off.
I see what you did there. So, okay, that's all we got on that. Next time, same whiskey time, same nerd channel. We'll be going over Marvel. So,
yep. So just don't hit any buttons on your device, and it'll just start playing.
Drink whiskey.
Elijah.
Whiskey and Nerds Podcast.